You know what? Let's tackle it. Let's just go straight for it. Let's tackle it head on at the base. Go for the legs. I think that's what we do. Go straight for the legs. I wanted to talk about this BAFTAs thing because, you know, it just seems like a hand grenade, and I decided that I wanted to pull the pin. I just felt, you know, I got the pin here. It's already pulled. So there is a guy called John Davidson. He just had a movie released about his life called I Swear. That's literally about how Tourette's has affected his life in extremely aggressive ways because he has an expressive form of Tourette's that literally makes it so that if you're in a situation you don't want to say something, neurons in your head will like go off and it'll make you say that thing you do not want to say. Right? Have you guys ever had an intrusive thought? Like you're ever driving a car and thinking, what if I just turned it and went off the bridge? Or what if I just jumped off this cliff? You know, I'm sometimes I'll go up like a high mountain and I'll be up there and be like, man, I wonder what happened if I just jump off. Of course you don't jump off because you know you die. If I jumped off, I wouldn't be here. But you have those types of intrusive thoughts. Essentially, with his version of Tourette's, not all versions of Tourette's are the same. If you have that intrusive thought, if it just fires off. And a lot of times it's not even something where you have an intrusive thought and you process it. And sometimes it's just like name or sound or pattern recognition or that intrusive thought, but something you 100% cannot control. And one way that this is displayed in the film is that when he is getting awarded by the Queen, you know, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen, the big one, the one that was a cultural icon, and probably be the biggest royal cultural icon in British history for, I mean, probably the biggest since what, Queen Victoria? I don't know. Just that queen. While he was going to get an award from her, he shouted, F the Queen. Fuck her. Like that's quite a statement to say to the Queen before the Queen gives you an award. And that's just one example. The movie also shows other examples where like he is near the cops and he starts shouting about how he has drugs and he's a drug dealer, and or he'll be near people with cancer and he'll start like saying things about you're gonna die, haha. And it's not because he's laughing about them dying. It's just his brain going off, the neurons firing, and you're no faster than a neuron firing in your head. You can't stop that. And so this man goes into the crowd at the BAFTAs, which is an award ceremony. It's a film award ceremony. And while Michael B. Jordan and Alan Cummings, Michael B. Jordan and fucking Delroy Lindo, not fucking Alan Cummings was the one who said Lindo is the one on the right here. Cummings was the one who asked people to be forgiving. They were going and they were getting an award for Sinners, which is a movie I did not see. So, okay, I gotta say, I cannot relate to this pain. Number one, because I'm not black. Okay, number two, because I haven't seen Sinners, right? So these are two areas that I just can't relate to this pain. But they were up there, and as they were doing their thing, John Davidson yelled the N-word. I'll play it because I think, you know, just better context. Hopefully I don't get banned.
Deborah and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate.
Now, to be clear, this is not the only instance of an outburst that we got from John on this night. There was another example where a presenter after Paddington Bear had made an appearance through like an animatronic Paddington Bear, and they had the voice actor behind stage, and you know, it was very cute. Well, a host came out and said like, oh, the last time I've seen a bear like that was the Peruvian bear in my bedroom, or made a comment that was like very, like it was a sexually charged comment using Paddington Bear as the base ingredient, right? That was what it was. And John Davidson responded to that by yelling the F slur and then pedophile, assumedly because you're making a sexually charged comment about Paddington Bear. Even if you're using it to make a comment about a different Peruvian bear, it's still a sexually charged comment about about a bear. He's Scottish that F the Queen is not Tourette's. It's probably Tourette's. It's probably Tourette's. So anyway, eventually, after all these outbursts, John Davidson makes the call that he's gonna leave, that he doesn't want to stay and wait for like another outburst to come on. So he leaves the event early, where this is supposed to be his big moment where he gets an award and gets recognized for a film about his life, a good film about his life. Like I saw the movie the way all young people see movies now, and the best way to watch movies, through YouTube shorts and 30-second segments where you don't really know any of the names of the characters, but it gives you like a 30-second dopamine rush because somebody gets their comeuppance and spoil all the major plot points immediately. As all movies should be viewed, and the only way that movies. And if you're a good boy, as a treat, you also get Subway Surfers in the corner. Either way, I've seen it through that, and the scene acting that I saw was good. It looked good, so it seemed to be a good movie. He wanted respect for that. It was a big moment in his life, and it gets completely ruined because of this. Now, on the other end of this equation, besides this man, ruining his own moment through the thing that has probably ruined many moments for him before, these types of uncontrollable public outbursts, is then countered with the fact that Michael Jordan, he has a standout performance in this movie. The entire cast and crew of Sinners is probably like, yippee, we got an award. And that moment is no longer the story. It's no longer, the story is not about, about a black movie and the black excellence and fantastic. Oh my God, look how great he did. Now it's about Michael Jordan got the N-word lobbed in the audience while he was accepting an award for a major piece of black cinema. That's now the story. That's now the story around Sinners. And so this creates a lot of outrage online. And I gotta say, it also has created some of the dumbest takes in the world. And I have to just say that. And I'm just saying that because I am very blunt and I do not care to mess around with this, because what I seem to be watching is a bunch of people trying to pit black people and disabled people against each other, when the party that is largely at fault is getting away with most of the attention. They're getting away, like, I'm not going to say completely scot-free, but they're not the one where the majority of the anger is focused at, right? So, first off, who is the harmed parties here, okay? You could say that John's disability, in a way, harmed himself, harmed his moment, and harmed his image, as now much of the world, irrespective of what is said after the fact, now thinks that he's a raging racist because he threw the N-word out at one of these events. And because people don't know what Tourette's is, okay? You can try to explain Tourette's. Some people think that it's like secret thoughts. No. Some people think it's like, oh, it's like an urge and you say what you would really want to say. No. Okay, this is not how Tourette's works. This is not how Tourette's works. Tourette's does not have daughters saying, haha, you're gonna die, about like people about their mom's cancer, like, because no, it's uncontrollable. It's neurons firing off, right? So they've seen a lot of ignorant takes around that. So he is somebody who has, in a way, through his disability, continued to harm himself. This has harmed his image. There's also, who else is harmed? Michael B. Jordan, the entire cast of Sinners. This moment is taken away from them. But also, if you're at an award ceremony and you just hear the N-word or a racial slur, an epithet thrown at you, like, you're not going to be sitting there thinking like, oh, what's the background of this? I wonder if somebody in there has Tourette's. I wonder if there's a good reason why the N-word is being yelled as I'm getting an award for Sinner. No, you're not going to think that. You're just going to think that somebody just degraded you into nothing, that they said, your race is your race, and so I disregard your award. I disregard your prestige. I disregard all that you are and all that you ever will be through this word. Screw you, right? That's the feeling that they're receiving. Now, so they are completely in the right to feel wronged in some way. Wronged in the way that they should have known what was happening. They should have known that it was not somebody trying to throw a racial epithet at them for negative reasons. They should have been, clued in. And so this is the thing that gets me, is right now I see a lot of people trying to make this again, it seems like black people versus disabled people. Like, well, I guess we got to take a disabled person, we got to put them off in their own section, or, well, maybe they shouldn't come to events like this, or, well, maybe black people should be more understanding when they hear the N-word 20 times, right? Like, the main party at fault is the BAFTA award ceremony. It's not even close. They're absolutely the main people at fault. You're running an award ceremony, and one of the films that is up for an award is a film about, and the most major film ever, probably, about somebody with Tourette's, dealing with that, struggling with that, and the fact that it's uncontrollable. And that your organization has invited the person who the film is about, who has uncontrollable Tourette's, to your event, and you've informed no one. You didn't inform the host, Alan Cummings. You didn't inform Michael B. Jordan. You didn't inform the rest of the cast of Sinners. You didn't inform Paddington Bear. You didn't inform any of the other potential people that could have had outbursts. You didn't even inform the people who were directly sitting around the individual in question. You didn't inform anybody. And what makes it even worse is, after not informing anybody, not making any accommodations to the matter, of thinking like, oh, what could we have done to be ready for something like this? But after the fact, after this already happens, John gets out of there. There's no more possibilities for any more outbursts. There is a 2-hour delay, 2 hours before they film something and it is broadcasted live around the world for the broadcast, right? So people can see what happened at the award ceremony. 2-hour delay. That's quite a lot of time. 2 hours to get it right. After the N-word is thrown about, after the shot is fired, the N-word heard around the world. Warner Brothers, being Warner Brothers, having some sense about how to make $1 or $2, right? They come forward and say, hey, you got to edit this out. We don't want to have this rebroadcasted. We don't want anything to do with this. If we're just going to have major black actors having the N-word thrown about in the audience, we don't want anything to do with that. BAFTA is like, absolutely, we agree. Absolutely. They get on one knee, they put up a fist, they say Wakanda forever. They're like, they're 100% down. And then they don't censor anything. They let everything play. They let him say the F slur play, they let him throw in pedophile play, they let him saying the N-word play out, they let everything play out. They didn't censor anything except, and I shit you not, they did censor somebody saying free Palestine at the end of their speech. They did censor that. They didn't censor the N-word. How could you end up being so incompetent? How could you end up managing your response in such a terrible way, where not only do you not respond, you do respond, you just make sure that the one thing you censor is something that will piss off everybody else more. You just censor the thing that's political, about like Palestinian people being able to have a state, being able to have representation, a political message about an ongoing conflict. Oh, it's politically charged. We better stop that. Better stop that. Better stop that. N-word being thrown at our stars, the stars that we're giving awards to at the ceremony, meant to respect them as well as being meant to respect this person with a disability. Nah, play that through. That's fine. And who's gonna get the flack? Who's gonna get the flack? Disabled people, or black people that are being told that they're overreacting. Those are the people that are gonna get the flack. The company BAFTA gets away; they're scot-free. They're walking away with all the money in their pocket. They're completely fine. They didn't have to do shit. Their editor got to go out back and like smoke dabs in his car for 2 hours. Who knows what he was doing before that broadcast just went out to the entire world. I mean, you have Warner Brothers. How could you create a stronger, more powerful media institution than Warner Brothers? I mean, Warner Brothers, I cannot tell you how many times Warner Brothers has stopped me from getting a check because they mark something as like copyright in one of my videos. They probably take a few $100s from out of my pocket just from the fact that they have that level of clout, and challenging them is just like fucking a lost cause. Screw that. Screw that shit. I'm not going to court with Warner Brothers. So they just back off. And that institution turns to you and says not, hey, give me all your money. Hey, don't broadcast the N-word, and they broadcast it out, but they take time to make sure they censor the pro-Palestinian activism. I mean, it is a microcosm of all of the worst stereotypes about Hollywood. Lazy, mismanagement, censor activism while leaving in the things that actually abuse their stars. Make sure that everybody else gets the blame, while the people who managed all these stars into crises where they're fighting with each other, or having racial identity crises or disability crises, make sure you get away scot-free. You got the money. Get the hell out of there. Hell, at least our show's in the headlines. That's how I see it. Okay. BAFTA got away with it. BAFTA got away with it. I don't need to read all these like the weird left slop nonsense, because I don't think it's necessary for me to like call out these people like LARPing Revolution on Twitter, like, oh well, my God, Tourette's is X. It's not necessary. It's just okay. Black Red Guard, the Marxist Leninist. Oh no, sorry, Maoist. Maoist. I mean, they're falling in line behind the corporate battle. It chose their side. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, I don't want to say like people don't have a right to be upset, but like your main anger is being directed at John Davidson and not the organization that just did not give a fuck at any stage. And I do find it a little suspect, the people who find it easier for them to pick a fight with disabled people than to pick a fight with the major corporation that gets away with all the money and scot-free. I don't know. It seems like you just, I don't know. Seems like you just want to get away with it. Okay, next segment.